Welcome to Happy Wife, Happy Life. We're your hosts. I'm Kendahl Landreth.
I'm Jordan Myrick.
And we are two incredibly unqualified,
but deeply in love comedians
who are here to help you navigate all things relationships. And Jordan, what are we talking about today?
Today, we have a very special guest that is here to talk to us about dating as an identical twin.
Give it up for Dylan Adler.
Today we have Dylan Adler in the studio, an incredible comedian, a musical genius, a friend.
A friend.
We're so happy to have
We're
you.
so happy you're here.
I'm honored to be here.
Oh,
I'm legitimately honored, and I love you two so much.
it's so exciting.
We adore you.
love you, and you're an identical twin.
Yes, I am.
And you're both gay.
Both guy.
Something's in the water.
Something's in the uterus.
Yeah.
Almost
uterus.
every twin I know, they're both gay.
When it's an identical twin, there is a 60% chance that if one is gay, the other's gay too.
And that is based in, it's all science, obviously. I know how science works. Is that based in like biological science, or is that based in just like studies have shown?
That's based in studies have shown.
Interesting.
It's
Or is
like
it that one of you is gay and then the other one just is so close with you and they watch you that they become gay?
Maybe.
I don't know.
It might be that through assimilation or something.
Yeah.
But I know it's very interesting. It's different with fraternal. With fraternal twins, that's a different situation where it's like
Oh.
less likely the other fraternal twin will be gay if one is gay. But when it's
Interesting.
identical,
Yeah.
60% chance, same sexuality.
Wow. Yeah, you're going to have a Tegan and Sarah type situation.
Absolutely.
100%. We've been talking recently, we were talking last night about how Mary Kate and Ashley are not identical twins. Did you know that?
I had no idea.
Fraternal.
That's really fucked up.
It's
And they're
really
both
fucked up.
straight.
And
that
they're
and
both
to top it off, that's not okay
Yeah.
because they
Isn't
look
that
so
wild?
identical.
I
They look
know.
identical.
Yeah.
Very bizarre. But so you guys were from the same egg, so I guess it was just like a little
Mhm.
kiki in that
Yeah.
egg.
Oh, absolutely. A little key. It was it was a Dua Lipa concert in there.
If you had to say
Mm-hmm.
which one of you was gay first.
Me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think me.
He's not here to defend
He's
himself.
not here to
but-
defend himself, but like my mom, she like recorded us of like in our little performances,
Oh.
Yeah.
and like little me was really serving. You
Yeah,
know, it was
absolutely.
really like, and my brother was like, he had a little lisp like this. He's like,
Yeah.
silly Sally. It like could
Got
be
it.
mistake. That energy's kind of little straight boy.
Sure.
And me, I was kind of a little more sassy, little kind of like wanted to perform more. So
Yeah.
I think that it was me first.
So did
Okay.
where is it clear? Like when you look back at photos, like was your mom like, oh yep, that's not surprising to me.
Well, yes, I believe so. Like we would, dress up as princesses and
Yeah, sure.
stuff, and we had shirts that we put on our hair, and we just pretended that we were like, Sleeping Beauty or whatnot and stuff. My mom did kind of like go through the switch where it's like maybe they are straight, and like we would go on dates with girls, and
Yeah.
I don't know, there was a weird switch that happened. But then once like she could see our Wi-Fi our browsing history, then
Yeah.
she was like, maybe
see it.
it's actually not this.
And you guys came out?
Yes.
Who came out first?
So my brother hinted to me sophomore year, he's like, I might be attracted to guys. And I
Sure.
was like, ew!
In that same voice.
Yeah, literally.
He was like, look in the mirror,
Yeah.
okay?
He was like, look in the mirror.
Yeah.
But I then a year later, so then we were all in a group. I like was friends with a lot of theater kids,
Sure.
and one of our friends came out as trans, and we were so like, we were driving the car. I was like, oh, that's so brave. And I was like, honestly, most porn I watch is of guys.
You really rode on the back of a trans
I
person.
really did, just like the history of queer rights
Absolutely.
in general.
I love the thought of her like standing up in English class and saying that, and then you standing up too and going, I watch gay porn!
I'm subscribed to Peter Fever.
Yeah.
Where's my float?
You said,
Exactly.
not in front of my salad.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Did you two share a room growing up?
Yes, we did.
Okay, so
Bunk beds.
bunk beds.
Bunk beds.
Okay.
So yes, we're like, we did share a room up until when we were both in the closet, we would fight a lot. And like I was getting sick of him because we were sharing a room till we were 16.
Yeah.
Sure.
So and he would like stay up and read, and I'd be like, I can see that
No.
through my eyelids.
Yeah.
A light. You're waking me up. And we okay, this is a deep. We both wore this thing called a pee alarm. We both wet the bed.
So did Kendahl.
Yes. I did not wear a pee alarm, but I
Okay.
just raw dogged it. I just wore pull-ups.
You know,
Till I was
same.
like
well,
8
so
years
did
old.
we. Oh, till I was older.
Yesterday.
Wait,
Yesterday.
but say what you
well,
did because I want to know
would
what
have
you
wet
did.
the bed a lot longer. So I wet the
Okay.
bed until, I don't remember, maybe 7 or 8.
Okay.
But they were like, there's been no progress. Like, what is going on? And I
Yeah.
know a lot of times that comes with like, oh, there's something going on. Like, what's going on with this?
Sure,
Like, what's going on at
sure.
home? And I was like, fine. I was thriving, but I could never go to like sleepovers or overnight camps because I had to wear a
Yeah.
pull-up. I was too embarrassed. But I
Sure.
would just wet the bed. I like could not help it. Then my tonsils were massive. They were like huge.
Oh.
I get them removed. Never wet the bed again.
And studies have shown, this is a science podcast now. Studies have shown that there is a huge correlation between getting your tonsils removed and stopping wetting the bed because some people's tonsils are too big and it's blocking your airway. So you think you're dying. So your body pees to like be like, you're dying. Do
Wake up.
something. And then
Oh
once
my
you get your
God.
tonsils removed, no more.
Me and my brother have big ass tonsils.
That's what
So
it is.
Huge.
I don't know
what
if
it
you
is.
can get them removed. I think it's really hard to get them removed as an adult,
As an
but
adult.
I would have probably been wetting the bed till I sometimes I think about it. I'm like, would I just like still be wetting the bed?
Maybe.
To be honest,
Sometimes I do.
once a year I'll be like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
well, okay.
A little too relaxed at night.
Yes.
Wait, so you would wear pee alarms?
pee alarms because no progress was made. No tonsils were taken out.
Yeah.
We were wearing pull-ups to sleepovers. Sometimes the pull-up would fall out.
Of
Yeah.
course.
And we'd be like, I don't know whose that is.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean out of your bag?
Out of
I was
our
like,
sleeping
out of your
bag.
pants? What do you mean? I don't know.
Fly off your body.
Yeah, the pee was so strong
Yeah.
it would
Yeah.
fly. But so basically my mom was like, I looked up this thing, it's called a pee alarm. You attach it to your underwear when you wet yourself, it sounds like a police siren.
That is so awful because we all know that once you start peeing, it's almost impossible to stop midstream. So it's like you still wet the bed, but you
Yes.
become so scared.
But then you become but sometimes we were such deep sleepers, both our pee alarms
Yes.
were going off. And we'd be asleep, and our
Piss in your bed.
mom would wake up like, boys, you woke up the house, go pee.
That is so well. That's how I'm such a deep sleeper.
Yeah,
I'm
me
such, and my
too.
parents had me tested to see if I was deaf because I didn't talk for like 20 years. I was such a late talker. It was like 2 or 3, but I was a late talker.
Yeah.
And then one time a train, we lived in the South. There were trains going by constantly.
Yeah.
My mom was walking me in my stroller. I was asleep. A train went by us 2 feet away from us. Didn't wake up. I was like, I'm fine. And that's how I still am. I've never slept through every earthquake. Slept through, but my
Yeah.
mom used to pick me up. This is part of the problem. She enabled this a little bit.
This
Yeah,
is
yeah.
sick. When Kendahl and I first started dating, Kendahl would always say to me, "Why don't you wake me up sweet?" I had no clue what that meant. I was like, what are you talking about? Because I would wake Kendahl up, like when we moved in together or whatever, I would wake Kendahl up. I would be like, Kenny, time to wake up. Good morning. I'd make her breakfast. I was like, what are you talking about? Why don't I wake you up sweet? Then the first time we go to her parents' house, her mom comes into the room while I've already woken up hours before.
Uh-huh.
Kendall's mom is like, let her sleep. Kendall sleeps until like noon. Kendall's mom comes into the room, knock on there. Kenny, sweetie. Opens the door, gets in bed with her. Is like, how's my sweet girl? It's like petting Kendall's head. Then brings Kendahl her favorite breakfast in bed. When Kendahl was little, her mom
Whoa.
would pick her up out of the bed.
Before I was awake, because I didn't like to wake up. I was not. I
Sick.
slept in. I had a tough time
Tell
waking
them what
up.
she would do.
Oh.
She would pick me up because I was a bedwetter. She'd pick me up. I would be still asleep. I would sleep in her arms. She would set me on the toilet. I would pee. She would pick me back up. She would pick me back up.
She would wipe for you?
I was asleep.
Disgusting.
I mean, I was like 7. It's not like this was
Oh.
last year, okay?
No,
Oh.
I don't mean that's disgusting. I mean the enabling is sick. And I'm going to, Darla, I
I mean,
have to
I
talk to
think
you.
she would. I was so not. It would be crazy to do half of it, not the rest. And then she put me back in bed. And
Would
it
you
was,
also be wet from other pee on
Yeah.
you?
But yes, I think it was kind of like, well, I mean,
Wow.
there's only so much because she probably used to pee again. This probably happened hours ago. Who knows?
I hear
Yeah.
this story. I'm like, did my parents not love me? Because that would not.
Yeah,
have
because
been
my
happening
mom
in my
woke me up
home.
with a squirt bottle. Like dogs.
and a fire alarm going off.
And a
you're-
fire alarm.
You're attached to like I thought you were gonna say every time you peed, it like zapped you. And I was like,
electrocuted
oh
you.
my God. But it's probably scary because then I wonder if later I would be afraid that then when you had to pee normally, just like peeing on the toilet,
Yeah.
you'd start like having a panic
Having
Are you
a
attack.
afraid
panic
of pee
attack.
now is what we're trying to ask
So
you.
basically, the pee alarm it was dog collar vibes, but I did stop.
Oh, okay.
So I was really determined.
Wow.
It's scary because you say like
Wow.
I was really determined, but I'm like I was always like I'm unconscious. So
What
like
can you do?
what can I do?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I want to know what other, because I'm sorry, I have to tell you this at the top of the episode.
Mhm.
I am disturbed and fascinated by twins.
Okay, valid.
So my
Mhm.
like lifelong best friend, Colin, is a twin.
Mm-hmm.
It feels perverted to me, but it's not your fault.
It
And there's nothing you can do about it. And I don't know why it feels that way, but I'm like, why are there two of you in there?
sure. I mean, me, like when I see twins, I'm like, freak.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I don't see me and my twin as that.
Oh, do you see
Because
yourself as twins? Wait, sorry, I'm already interrupting. I'm
So
so excited.
okay, I know that we're twins.
Sure.
But to me, we are very so distinct, and our parents like put in a lot of effort. They're like, we're gonna put them in we have to put them in separate classes
Yeah.
so they don't become codependent and stuff.
Sure.
But to me, I'm like, that's my brother who is the same age, who's also gay, who sounds like me exactly.
Do you think he looks like you?
No.
Does he look
don't.
like you though?
A lot of people think they do, and I think we do look very alike, but when we were young, we definitely looked very alike, but our close friends could always tell the
Yeah, of
difference.
Of course.
Yeah.
And that's like when it's like, that's when we knew when
Well, your
someone-
your brother was peeing himself.
Covered in
all over- he's
piss.
covered in
Exactly.
piss.
Well, he smelled like an orphan. I don't know. I don't know.
That makes sense.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, yeah, because sometimes I'll meet
Wow.
twins where they'll be like, yeah, people think we look like and we look nothing alike. And I'm like, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to say that y'all are the same person. You're obviously not. You're so different. You are, and even in your looks, you have different things about you. It is so funny to me to be like, we look nothing alike. I'm like, you are
No.
identical twins.
No, yeah.
What
yeah,
are you
yeah.
talking about? But,
Yeah.
you know.
No, I definitely acknowledge we look very alike. But to me, I'm like, I understand when people see twins, they're like, the freaks, the shining. Ah! But to me, I'm like, that's Max.
That makes so much sense. I've never thought of it as like, to you, you're just like, that's my sibling. I think in my mind, you guys are like, that's my twin.
Yeah.
Or I don't know.
And then we
Kiss
kiss.
each other?
I don't know.
Are you
what's
what
wrong
porn
with
are you
you?
watching?
Yeah, I'm watching porn about twins.
I mean, in the gay community, twin porn is a very and me and my twin brother.
Oh well, I want to hear this.
Star
part
in
first.
it.
Yeah, we are signing contracts right now
so
with Kung
beautiful.
Fu.
Ooh.
I feel like in the straight community, twin porn is huge too.
Absolutely,
People love
absolutely.
twins.
I know. And to me, I'm like, it's I don't know if it's something about a queer thing, but I'm like, ew, no. Like me and my twin brother.
You think it's gay to not want to have sex with your own brother? Is that what you
Wait, no,
mean? You're like, this
That's
is a
gay.
specifically gay thing.
It's
I don't
a-
want to have sex with my brother.
It's a very a specifically queer thing to not want to fuck your family.
Yeah. Right.
Yes,
Wow.
And it's always been
we
that
are
way.
educating a
Always been
lot
that
of people
way.
on this podcast.
Yeah. No, but I think like a lot of like we've been at clubs before where like people have been like, three-way? Or like we've matched with the same guy on Tinder before and it's been like something and we're like, no.
So this brings me to my question. So you both stop peeing yourselves
Yeah.
eventually.
Yes.
Thank God.
Thank God.
And you are now dating.
Yeah.
When you both started dating, okay, maybe you date women, now you're both dating men.
Mhm.
Was it weird at all? Was there any like overlap of, we both like the same guy? We both,
Mhm.
it's like the same guy likes both of us.
So we came out last year of high school pretty much. So we didn't really start. I mean, we like last year of high school summer before we went to
Okay,
college.
got it. Okay.
That's when I came
So-
out too.
Yes. So college was really when we were I went to NYU. He went to
Yeah.
University of Rochester.
Okay.
So we kind of like.
One of you went to a very gay college and one of you went to a very not gay college.
Yes. But he went to Eastman School of Music to do double major thing, which was
Okay.
pretty gay. Actually.
So he was in a
Makes
gay
up for
wing of a straight college.
exactly.
Got it.
Yes.
And what did you go to NYU for?
For music
What?
composition.
And you were in
Wow.
I was in
Steinhardt?
Steinhardt. Yes, Steinhardt.
because you know I was in
Amazing.
Tisch.
Oh my God, for acting,
For acting.
obviously. Yes.
Wow.
I was Steinhardt for music composition. I wanted to be John Williams, Hans Zimmer film score.
Wow.
I love Jordan always talks about how Dylan because you coached Dylan in improv.
I did, yeah.
Mhm.
When we were younger, I would coach
Yeah.
an improv team that Dylan was on, and he
That's
would
right.
always come in from some musical thing carrying a huge keyboard and 100 jackets, and he would always be like, "Sorry, sorry," and I was like, "This is so sweet and endearing," but also I was like, "This poor boy has to carry
I
this keyboard
know.
everywhere."
Oh my God, because I would accompany, like, I would be an accompanist for a lot of
Yes.
like improv or like, and I would also for my act lug a piano on the subway, and all of New York hated me.
Of course.
And I would be carrying it, and it was like banged up because I was in a rush and
Yeah.
stuff.
So you got to pick your instruments right. Like I think if
Exactly.
my kid was like, I want to play the harp, I'd be like, let's think about it.
Well, you said your
Mhm.
brother plays the oboe.
Oboe,
Smaller.
smaller, yes.
Yeah.
Much smaller. Okay, so he went to college in upstate New York. You
Mhm.
were in the city.
Yes, so our dating lives didn't cross paths
Okay.
that much, but when we got home and we were on Tinder, we would sometimes match with the same boy.
Yeah.
The way we bartered, we were like, okay, I matched with him first, you unmatched. He's like, something better come of this.
Yeah.
Or, he's mine. That's how we would barter when we matched with the same
Right.
person. And my brother and I also, luckily, have kind of different types.
That's what I was gonna
I
ask.
gotta know.
Yes. So my brother is a full power bottom.
Wow.
And
Iconic.
yes. So like he loves bears. He loves like
Yeah.
bigger guys who are taller. He
Yeah.
loves tall guys. I like short guys. I kind of like, like maybe a little more versatile from me. So
Sure.
I kind of like, I like shotties.
Yeah.
Okay. I think a power bottom is the most powerful person in the gay community.
Absolutely. No, for real. Like when it comes to like the gays, that's the
They're
Yeah.
the top.
foundation.
Yeah.
That's the top of the food chain.
That's the top of the food chain is the power bottom.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
Interesting.
100%.
I love that y'all are never like, let's let this man pick who he wants. You're always like,
Yeah.
we're gonna suss it out, and then he'll get who he gets, and I think that's nice.
Yes, exactly.
Do you think you're ever like? I feel like because if once you go down that road, it's kind of. I would be like, I couldn't take that. Like if I was a twin, I couldn't let someone pick because I'd be like, I don't want to know.
No, exactly. We don't want to know. And
Yeah.
also, it's like, bitch, you think you're worth it? You think you can pick these two siblings?
Yeah.
You think we're like on our head and we're like, oh my God, pick me, pick me. I'm like, no.
So you guys don't get really competitive.
Well, we are competitive, and
Yeah.
we were definitely more competitive when we were younger. When we did the same, like we did piano together, and we
Yes.
were
Yeah.
like. But then when I branched more into comedy, doing my own thing, he branched off to his own thing.
Yeah.
We were like a little less competitive
Yeah.
about that.
That's
Yeah.
so nice.
I have to know. This might be a perverted question.
Ask.
Good. I'm sorry. I just have to know. Have you ever? Okay, you're dating someone. Let's say.
Mhm.
Do you ever feel weird having them around your brother, where you're like, well, I know you really like me, but this person looks exactly like me, and we were raised the same exact way because we were twins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're also
And
friends, so we
we're
get
friends,
along.
and
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
gay.
yeah.
Like, do you ever feel like a little? There's no. And I'm saying that would be
Yes,
valid to
yes,
feel, but I'm just
yes.
like if you felt that.
My brother, yes,
Mm.
at times,
Yeah.
but I feel like if I were to date someone where I was like genuinely afraid something would like my partner would genuinely do something with, then I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not a relationship. I wanna
relationship.
have.
Of course.
You
That's
know?
very healthy.
Yeah,
That's very
100%.
healthy.
Yeah.
Wow, all of this is so different for me because I don't have any siblings at all, much less a twin.
Uh-huh.
I can't imagine having that kind of connection to someone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah.
I think it must be more. The more you're talking about it, I'm like, oh, because I grew up with a lot of siblings, and I grew up with my sister. Her daughter was my age, and we like shared a room all growing up, and we were very much kind of treated like twins. We were like a couple years apart, but we didn't look anything alike. The more you're talking about it, I'm like, oh, obviously. 'cause
Okay,
we
so in
weren't
what
twins.
way were you guys
Yeah.
twins?
We were just like we were the same age. Like we would do birthday parties together. We would have the
yeah,
same.
yeah,
we would
yeah.
get the same outfits. We would, especially
Sure.
when we were younger, we became very polar opposites later.
Yeah.
But when we were like little girls, we would wear the matching dresses and whatever. But the more you're talking about it, I'm like, oh, it probably just feels like a sibling. Like,
Yes,
it doesn't probably
no.
feel like anything
Yeah.
This
different.
is so illuminating to me.
When we were little kids, I remember people would be like, "Are you twins?" I'm like, "More than that, we're brothers." Isn't that dandy? And they're like, "We don't give a fuck." I'm like, "We're brothers though, brothers." I thought that was cooler than twins.
Wow,
very
are you
sweet.
so over people asking you about being a twin, like on
No.
this podcast
No,
specifically?
because I love questions about me, not us.
I'm just so interested because, like I said, the only thing I could ever have right is kind of like an approximation to a sibling. You know what I mean? Like, so the closest thing I have is my friend Sarah, who like her mom is my Aunt Lizette. She was like there when I was born. I'm not close to most of my like biological family outside of my parents for the most part, and like they are my family, and we would have the same thing. Like our moms would like dress us the same, and we would like go out and we would be dressed the same, and I would be like, we're twins. And then like when I was in middle school, people are like, why is your whole family Hispanic and you are not? And I was like, what do you mean? And then I went home and I was like, are we Guatemalan? And my mom was like, no. Why do you think that?
It also was like, it was more like family in the sense that like obviously you two got along, but even if you guys didn't get along, you would have still had to hang out with each other and see them all the time.
There were times when she definitely, sorry Sarah, was annoying, and she wasn't sharing, but we still had to hang out. So that's like the closest thing I had to a sibling. But I don't know. I'm like, I'll never know.
Just like how I'll never know what it's like to be just one person and not two.
Okay, this is a crazy question. Do you think that in any way being a twin has prepared you for being in like a healthy relationship as an adult?
You know, I actually think yes. Because when you're a twin brother, you have to survive the relationship, you have to communicate.
Yes.
You have to. Like, and when it comes, like, I shared a womb with this person, and like, there is like, no matter to me what happens in my life, there's always one person who when I call them, there is no pretext. Yeah. It's just like, bitch, I can't believe this, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And it's just like this, like, but we also had to learn to like communicate effectively because like there were, it's a very important relationship and like there were times where it was strained by like, when we were in the closet, not communicating correctly. Yeah. And, my brother went to therapy when he was younger because he had OCD. So like he learned a little more like communication techniques earlier than I did and stuff. So I do think, yeah.
Yeah, I think siblings, I've always thought about that because I don't think I'll ever have any children, but I definitely will not have more than one. If I have a child, it will be one child, and I will. Like,
that's all we can afford.
But I mean, even more, I'm like, the thought of having two kids, I'm like, it's so scary. Even, I have two nephews. Whenever we watch them, I'm like, there is only one of us per one of them.
I'm like, we gotta leave one of them in the car.
It's so horrible. So scary. So I'm always like, oh, I'd only have one. But I always am like, it's so interesting that there's so many things you have to then simulate as you have to simulate them for your kids. Where I'm like, I need to teach you how to like, I need to teach you that not everything's about you. I need to teach you how to share. I need to teach you how to be like, that maybe some days are less about you and some days, like you have to simulate all that.
My parents, for example, did that by looking me in the eyes as early as I can remember and saying, not everything is about you. Kind of direct right from the beginning. We're saying that's not about you.
Or it's just like, even if you teach your kids sharing, it's like there's nothing that would prepare you more than like sharing a room where you're like every night, like you said, you're reading a book, I want to go to bed. I'm just having to learn to like bite my tongue and deal with it. And you can always tell when you have a roommate who was an only child, not you. You really don't seem like an only child to me, but I've known.
You don't actually.
My parents, I'm not kidding, were very serious about
they bullied
being
you
like,
into being
no one cares about you, which I think was
good.
My parents were very loving. They loved me a lot, but my parents were very quick to be like, you are not that important and you're important to us, but in the grand scheme of things, you're not that important. And also like they were good about letting me have friends over. So I got to be around people a lot, and or my mom would just take me to the park and be like, go away from me. And I would have to go up to children and be like, hello, I'm Jordan. I just moved to town and I'm looking for friends or whatever, when I was like a child. And I think that helped.
Yeah, I think that because you don't see, but I feel like I've had roommates where you can always, within 2 minutes, I'm like, you were an only child. I can tell because you think that you're so used when you have a lot of siblings to just dealing with stuff and being like, well, I'm not happy, but this is what it is.
This is what it,
And so I think that would be hard because nothing prepares you. I remember one time she's technically my niece, but basically my sister. We shared a room. She was a cheerleader. I was in improv, so I was not popular, and she was very popular. And she was like cute and dated boys, and she was cool. And all the cheerleaders came into our house, and they all crammed, the whole cheer squad crammed onto her bed. It was because they did not want to be caught on camera. They didn't want anyone to take a photo of them on my bed. So I was sitting by myself on my bed because it was my room. So I wasn't wanting to hang out with them, but I had to do my homework. And I was like, okay, I'm just sitting here. And all the cheerleaders, like 12 teenage girls who like bully me at school, were all like sitting on the bed just looking at me. And nothing can really like make you learn like that. That really just like prepares you. And if I had a kid, I would never want to simulate that situation for them. But someone has to do it.
Do siblings watch porn together?
No.
At first?
No.
Not
No.
at first? Well, not when you're younger?
No.
No.
Well, no.
Oh.
No. Well, okay. So my mom had this little massage toy that I would put on my, thing.
Of course.
And when I was, I think I just mentioned it to my brother. I'm like, hey, there's this thing, a massage toy. I'll step out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever play like a perverted game of house or anything like that?
With my brother?
Yeah, I've heard of people on the internet be like, "Oh, my family, like my siblings, I would play house. We were the same age. We were like 5 when you were really young.
No, when you're like a child.
And you're like, I'm the mom and I'm the dad. So then you like do things you think
you
mom's
do a
dads.
kiss
And
or
you're like
whatever.
kissing and you're like, you're like, okay, now we're gonna go to bed because the baby's sleeping. You're like cuddling and it's like kind of perverted and you're like, I don't know.
I don't mean do you and your brother watch porn together now.
Yeah.
I know the answer is yes.
No, not when we were young.
Okay.
But my brother, when he was 12, kissed me to make me mad.
And you were
and
mad?
I was mad.
Yeah.
I was like, you stupid gay bitch. I actually cried. I was so mad.
That is such a good way to make your brother mad,
Yes,
I feel like.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love that.
Funny.
I want to know, how do you deal with sibling jealousy when you were, I know now you're an adult, but I know so many people have complicated relationships with their siblings where they feel like, even if it's like a small thing, they're like, ooh, my sibling has this and I don't.
Sure.
And then it can really kind of reflect back on you and make you feel some type of way. How do you deal with those types of things, especially with like dating or relationships or feeling,
When I first lost my virginity, my brother was like, before me, and then he went and lost his.
How soon after?
That day. I was like, oh my God, you freaking bitch.
That is so funny.
Then, when he got a relationship, he was like, I have a boyfriend. I was like, before me? Then it took like 3 years for me to get one. But yes, there is definitely sibling jealousy.
Yeah.
Not just because like when he was in a relationship, I would, I call him every day because we like unpack and kiki and stuff.
I love that.
But then he'll be like, I'm sorry, I'm spending time with Jacob. I'm like, oh my God.
A different kind of sibling jealousy.
Yeah.
You're jealous of the partner.
Where I'm jealous of the partner. I'm like, that's my boyfriend.
My brother's my boyfriend.
He needs to hear about how Kayla was mean to me today.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That must be hard. It must be hard. I mean, I think it's hard even if you just have a best friend. Like when they get a partner and then you don't have someone and you're like, well,
for sure.
this is the end of our road, I guess.
Yes.
Because when you have a partner, you're like, oh, we'll double date, it'll be fun. But it can feel like, well, I just will mean nothing to you anymore. And that's healthy, and I guess that's just how it has to be.
Yes.
Wow.
For sure.
And I do need to know, does your mom have a favorite?
I in my brain will be like, Max is the favorite.
Oh.
But I feel like it goes through waves.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Like I've gone through like different waves of like feeling closer to mom or less close to mom or closer to dad and less close to dad and stuff. So it depends on what they ate that day.
Yeah.
I think that's a healthy answer.
Yes.
I think that's a healthy answer.
100%.
Yeah.
That is so fun. So we actually do have some questions from our viewers who wanted to know what it was like being a twin and dating. So I wonder if I feel like there's probably a gay twins out there that are like, wow, I've never waited more for a podcast episode.
Yeah, this episode's for you, gay twin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you want to start it out, Jord?
I will. Did you feel like it was harder or easier to come out since you're both gay?
easier.
Okay.
It was very like it was kind of like a thing of like, if you don't like one of us, you don't like both of us. Ha! You know?
Solidarity.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that. And did you come out to your parents at the same time or at different times?
He came out first and I came out like 2 weeks later.
Okay.
It was
Yeah.
kind of like a situation where you stood up again and were like, me too.
Yeah, me as well.
Did you
Wow.
do you think they worried that they were like, oh, Dylan saw his brother getting attention, so he's now pretending to be gay?
Yeah, do you think
And
they
were
thought
they
that?
like, you don't need to be gay, it's okay?
No, I think they were waiting because they see the internet history. We
Yeah.
had PCs
Of
and we would get
course.
a lot of viruses on our computer.
Of course.
Yeah.
And so they knew that, Manhunt was giving, us viruses.
Of course.
I always wonder. I feel like parents don't. At least I know yours never said anything to you, and my mom never said anything to me, and it's very sweet. But I feel like my mom must have seen so much search history that she just pretended she didn't see, which is so
Sure.
kind.
Yes.
But I always think about, we shared a Kindle, my mom and I. We shared one. And I bought a lesbian smut novel. Haven't changed at all in the last 10 years. And I bought a lesbian smut novel on it and was reading it. And I have like a learning disability and I'm so bad at reading. I had not read a book at that point. I mean, I had a signed reading class. I wasn't reading it. I just like couldn't read. She was like, wow, you're really zooming through this book. Like I was able somehow. Really made me question it. I was like, do I have a learning disability or do I just want to read porn? Is
Or does
that-
other
Yeah,
work
yeah.
not make me horny enough?
Exactly. And I was
love
zoomed through. I
that.
read it in like 3 days. It was called Waiting in the Wings. It was about these two lesbians on Broadway together. I was obsessed. I read it so fast. She was like, oh, you're really getting through it. We shared it. It was so clear what it was. On the cover is these two lesbians like behind a stage. Like one of them has them up against a wall. She never said anything. She was just like, well, I'm so glad you're reading.
I have
love
such a
that.
distinct memory of one point in time. My dad was like, hey, let me show you how to clear the history on the computer. And I was like, okay, thanks
Yeah.
for that useless information. Which now looking back as an adult, I'm like,
So
he was
sweet.
being like, please clear the browser history.
Yeah,
I'm like
yeah,
trying
yeah,
to be
yeah,
so
yeah.
nice about it.
Yes,
But I had
yes.
no clue.
Same.
Yeah.
Same here.
I had no clue.
Our
Same
kind,
here.
sweet parents.
They're so
Yeah.
sweet.
My mom literally was like, I will subscribe you to Sean Cody. Just stop getting on these free sites because that's where the viruses are.
Please.
Yeah.
See, I always am like, if I was a parent, I would be so, I just don't think I would think before I would speak sometimes. Because I always think about these things. I'm like, my mom really sat and thought, I was like, I'm not going to say anything. Or your dad was like, I'm going to go in and I'm going to say,
Oh
and I
my
would just be like,
God.
you looking at porn on your computer?
I'd be like, bitch, what's wrong with you? I would have no thoughts in my
I
brain.
have no problem with it. I'm just wondering. It's crazy that you're watching porn. How old are you? 12? I would be so, I feel like upfront and it'd be traumatizing probably.
Yeah. So, what is the most wild thing you have ever done to set yourself apart from your twin in order to gain attention, romantic attention, whatever?
That is a really good one. Be emo. I think I was.
cannot
Where
imagine.
is your boy tonight? I hope he is a gentleman.
Yeah, of course.
Like, I was like, because my brother was like very buttoned up, and I was like, well, I'm anarchy. Well, I'm the darkness.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of. I did a little bit of like that when I was. I went through like the
love
phase
that.
didn't last long. though.
Sure.
But I went through a little bit of that to separate myself from my brother.
Do kids do that anymore? Because my sister was very much a scene kid.
I
and
was too.
she-
I think kids have to do something to be
Mhm.
alternative, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but they're doing something.
I mean, it just feels like everything though that kids would do to be alternative now is just like acceptable. Like they were like, "I'm gay," and we were like, "Okay, that's cool."
Yeah,
great.
yeah,
and they're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"I'm wearing all black." I don't know. It's just stuff that you're like,
yeah,
"That's
piercings,
fine.
yeah, and we're all like fine with it.
Cool. Yeah, I got a tattoo,"
Yeah.
and you're like, "Awesome."
Yeah, I guess to be all these days, you are you support Trump.
Yeah,
I don't know,
There
that's-
you go.
that's
Yeah.
the real.
Yeah.
I don't
Where
know.
is
You
your
come out as
Trump
conservative.
tonight?
Tonight. Yeah. This it's like there will never be another USA. Freedom won't come round if you give it away. That's the Panic at the Disco of now.
Of this time.
that is
wow.
very
That's really
good.
illuminating.
Yeah.
Your brother
Yeah.
in a relationship right now or single?
Single
And
Oh.
you?
relationship.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
yes, I
know that
am.
either.
Yes, I am.
For how long?
5 months.
Okay, so kind of new.
Huh?
You
You've
said yes, I
know.
am, and I thought you were gonna go yes yesterday.
Yesterday.
I got it.
This makes sense. Okay, this is wild, and we don't know about it because you've been on tour
Yes.
nonstop.
Mhm,
Please plug
mhm.
what you've been doing, and then we want to
It's
hear about
so
your boyfriend.
exciting.
Yes. I've been opening for Okatsuka. I love her so much. She
She's
is
so
so
funny.
much fun. It's been so
So
much
you're
fun.
both so funny. It's disgusting.
No, she's been so good to me. I'm so grateful for Atsuko. She's the best.
I love that.
But yes, we've been together for like, we met in the summer and like then we hit it off. And then after like 10 dates, I was like, I'm like, I really want to like be this person's boyfriend.
Oh my
love
God.
that.
And then I think he was a little slower to like, a little bit more hesitant. But then
Yeah.
on my birthday, he was like, want to be boyfriends? I was like,
On your
Oh,
birthday.
that's so
yeah.
sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, and where did you meet?
We met on Hinge. Hinge really is, I say, Christian mingle for atheists. It's
I
really
loved it.
like people who really, I mean, so many marriages have come from Hinge.
Yes.
I mean, well, we met on Hinge. We didn't. I don't know. I was just excited. But we did meet online, and I
Yes.
loved being on Hinge. Sometimes I'll forget what Hinge is for, and I'll be
Mhm.
like, why am I not on Hinge anymore? That was so much fun.
All right, I gotta start taking their phone. I've never been. I didn't
And
know
then,
this
you know,
was
like it was so enjoyable to be on. I felt like I met so many nice people.
It's fun.
Mhm,
And everyone
yeah.
there, and I was telling Jordan a while ago, is that my best friend is straight,
Yeah.
and I was like, go on Hinge, do
Yes,
it, go on dating
I
apps,
think it's
and
the
she
best
was like,
one.
no, I don't want to do dating apps. It's horrible. I was like, no, do it. But I've only done like gay dating.
Mhm.
Dating apps for straight people feels a little different. But I feel like
Yeah.
where every person we saw on that app was just horrible. It looked awful, and it was like in
Oh.
a dark room where you're like, this man looks dangerous, and this is a photo he's choosing to put on this profile.
yeah.
But on the lesbian side of dating apps, it feels
Incredible.
like you're like, oh my God, all these people, I can't even pick one because I want to be friends with all of them and maybe date one of them.
I mean,
It's just a
that's how I
treat.
felt too. I was like, when I was on Tinder and Hinge, I was like, there's just too much ass. And
Yeah.
I'm overwhelmed. It's just, I had to
Yeah.
take a break.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. And does your brother Max approve?
That's what I was gonna ask. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
have they
he does.
met?
They haven't, talked on the phone briefly.
Okay.
Yet, but
Oh,
he
nice.
hasn't met my family yet. I haven't met his yet. But
My God.
but
That's
but
exciting.
I really love him.
And is he a comedian?
He's very funny. He's like he's doing stand up, but he
I
also
love that.
works for like commercials for Food Network and
Oh,
for Warner
amazing.
Brothers
Oh my
and stuff.
gosh.
So he does that.
I would be so toxic if I dated a person like that. I would constantly be like slipping my resume to them and be like, what are you working on right now? Oh, do you want me? I like could not keep it in.
Yeah.
Anytime they like had anything come out, I'd be like, oh, interesting. Okay. I could have played that part, but
Yeah. It's a business partnership.
Love
won't
always
mind.
is. Well, that is so exciting. I'm so happy to
Mhm.
end this podcast on such a positive note. And even more positive than you just being in a relationship, you are in a relationship and your twin is not.
you won.
You did it.
Dylan 1, Max 0.
did
Woo!
it. It's
Come
so
back for
incredible
update.
for
Oh.
you.
No,
We're gonna
I
have him on
appreciate it.
separately and get his side of the story.
Please,
Yeah.
I would actually really love that.
Yeah.
He's also doing comedy now. Max is like starting to do open
Oh my
open
God.
mics and improv too.
I love
Fun.
that.
Yes, so
Well, thank you so much for being here. It literally, this is the problem with having guests because I'm like, you should just co-host this podcast with us.
No,
It's so
he's
fun.
too funny.
No,
I'm like,
shut
I
up,
can't have
no.
this.
We
I can't have
can't
this
shine.
competition
Yeah, we
with
can't
you and
shine
I
with
every
you here.
single week. This is so great. You've really broken down twins for me in a way that I've been able to kind of understand for the first time ever, and maybe siblings in general. I kind of get it now.
I appreciate it.
The
I'm
next time
honored.
I see twins on the street, I'm gonna think, good for you.
They're just
yeah,
like
don't yell
us.
next. Just like
Yeah.
stop the yelling.
I'm
and
gonna stop
just,
screaming, ew!
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'll say, good for you.
Good for
Yeah.
you. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for being so open and vulnerable and telling us about your urine. And
Thank you so much, Kendahl.
we
and
just
Jordan.
adore
You're
you.
the
And
best.
yeah, you're the best.
Yeah.
Truly, it's such
What
a
are you
treat.
working on? What do you have coming up? Where should people
Yes.
follow you?
Yes.
We'll put everything down
Yes.
in the description of this podcast, so you'll be
Mhm.
able to follow Dylan
Yeah.
there. But also, Dylan, just tell us what's going on.
Yes. I have a show in LA May 9th, 7:30 at Dynasty Typewriter for the Netflix is a Joke Festival.
It's gonna be so
Oh,
incredible.
my-
Yes, yes.
And there are still tickets.
still absolutely.
Okay,
yes,
great.
yes.
Kendall and I will be there. So
Oh my God,
we're gonna get
thank y'all
tickets.
so
Literally,
much for
I'll buy
coming.
tickets right after this
Thank
because
you
we've
guys
been
so
wanting to
much
see
for
your show. I've
coming.
heard such incredible things about it.
Yes.
Thank you guys
And
for
we've been
coming.
out of town every time you've done it for the last year. So this is the one. We're here May 9th and we're going to be seeing it. So if
Oh.
you
Thank you
come,
guys.
you'll get to see an incredible performance and Kendall and I will be there and you'll get to have kind of like a live version of this podcast episode.
podcast.
Yes, absolutely.
Because you're, I'm sure, gonna want to bring us up on stage.
And I will.
Yes,
And I
yeah.
will.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. No, it's just we're just so happy you're here, and we adore you, and we're so proud of you. Like
Love
you
you
really are
guys.
doing such exciting stuff. It's amazing.
Feeling is
So
mutual and the
incredible.
engagement. Oh.
Oh,
Thank you.
I
come
screamed when I
on.
saw that
Thank
post. I was like,
you. Thank you.
really?
Make sure to rate and review on Spotify, and if you're on Apple Podcasts, do the same. And anywhere you get your podcasts, you can listen to us every single Monday. And if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, comment down below if you're a
Hi.
twin or if you like twins.
Yeah, that's your thing.
Yeah. Stop trying to hook up with them.
Yes.
That
Oh.
is so rude.
Yeah.
And then follow us on Instagram and TikTok
And join our Patreon. We
Join
got a
our
ton of fun
Patreon.
stuff.
Yeah,
Go
we
to our
got a-
link tree and just
you
spend a
get
couple
it.
minutes
it's
there.
all on there. You get it.
And thank you all so much for being here.
Thank you.
I love you both.
I love you
Love you
guys.
both.
All right, bye.
Bye.